Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Who We You'd, an unofficial Doctor Who watch along podcast. My name is Ben, and I'm here with my co host Cam. Today, we are discussing the second part of the trial of a Time Lord, Mindwarp. But before we get into the episode, how you doing today, Cam?
I'm doing good. Not doing great, but doing good. Like a lot of times, I could be doing better, but you know, could be doing worse. Nothing really exciting's happening in my life. Anything exciting happening in your life recently?
Uh, Not really.
Yeah.
Just been working and doing podcast stuff.
I don't think I said on the last podcast, but I got tickets for Geese. I'm very excited to see Geese
Geese?
in November.
Like the birds?
Yeah, it's like the birds. It's the new. It's one of like the new hip indie bands. If you consider yourself pretentious, you might know about the band Geese.
What
But
is what is their music even?
it's like I would classify it as like Radiohead mixed with the Strokes mixed with the Pixies. I don't know if you know anything other than the Radiohead in that sentence, but I really enjoy them. In particular, that From the Basement performance is fantastic. So they're really good live. So looking forward to be in a group of hipster wannabes witnessing Geese.
Cool. I've just been listening to Pink Floyd and the Beatles. Same as I have been for months.
And you are at Revolver, you said. You texted me
Yeah,
the other day
like
saying that you're at Revolver now.
like everything. I gotta go release order.
Yeah.
I mean I
But
started
you
with
did it for the Beatles. You did start. You started. It was you went Abbey Road and White
I
Album
did White
first.
Album or I did Abbey Road, White Album, and then I went back to Please Please Me and started from
Mm.
there. So I'm at
My one
Revolver
thing,
now.
Ben.
Yeah,
You got what? We're going on a main trip in a month.
yeah.
You got to get up to at least Let It Be by that point. Gotta see if you can get a Let It
I
Be by
gotta
June.
blitz through all of their the rest of their albums.
Ben, I'm not. You are not impeding my ability to listen to Let It Be.
I'm not gonna I mean, if you put on Let It Be in the cabin, I'm not gonna go, spoilers, no. I'm covering my
Because
ears."
both me and Ryan do love Let It Be. That's a great album.
I believe you.
And also, that's just one of those albums where you want to put on Let It Be with the boys.
Yeah.
There's some Beatles stuff where you don't really want to. Let It Be has that energy. I think probably because like the documentary really does showcase that they were just kind of vibing with the boys during the Let It Be sessions. So
Uh,
that's kind of the music vibes that came out of it.
yeah. I really want I mean, I watched Hard Day's Night and Help. I'm sure there's, you know, 2 dozen of them, but I feel like my behind the scenes knowledge of the Beatles is relatively limited. D
Well, you
other
have the
than
great anthology documentary on Disney Plus.
yeah, I'm at this stage curious to their, origins. Like, I know there was a couple years where they were just playing in a club,
Yeah, in
and they
Germany.
really built stuff around their live performances
Yeah.
before transitioning to studio stuff in, like, Revolver On or Rubber Soul On.
I highly recommend a movie, Ben. If you love Back to the Future, right? That's one of your favorite movies.
Sure.
Robert Zemeckis, the director of that, and the writer of the co-writer of Back to the Future, Gail Hurd. Not sorry, Gail Hurd. Sorry.
Are you saying I should watch Yesterday?
No, 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 no. Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis. Their first movie was a movie called "I Want to Hold Your Hand," which is like a Beatlemania movie about these girls trying to go to the Ed Sullivan performance of the Beatles.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
very good movie. I highly recommend. It's really
Just
underrated.
get the vibes.
Yeah, it's also just like one of those movies. It's very similar to Back to the Future, where you're thinking like it's not like Back to the Future. Like, how can that premise be like Back to the Future? But it's very much like that, where like how with Back to the Future, the whole like plot of it is like the it revolves around the clock tower and the lightning strikes. Like the whole that Sullivan performance is that in the movie, so it's all coming down in that and things are clashing and colliding. It's a great movie.
Hmm. I will have to give it a watch.
Only thing I would say is that it's a very hard movie to stream because, uh the Beatles music. They can't like because the Beatles music was before getting like the Beatles music in the movie was before like streaming. So they don't have the streaming rights to stream the movie. So, I have it on Blu-ray. That was one of the ones where I had to get on Blu-ray because it was like, "All right, I can't stream it anywhere. I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray," because I liked it enough the first time I watched it. But yeah, enough about the Beatles, man. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
So, Mindwarp was broadcast October 4th through October 25th, 1986, as parts 5 through 8 of The Trial of a Time Lord on BBC One. This was written by Philip Martin, who previously did Vengeance on Varos, uh, which this is, of course, the return of Sil, so that makes sense. He would write Sil again. Directed by Ron Jones, who also did Vengeance of Varos, and then a bunch of Fifth Doctor stories, including Black Orchid, Time Flight, Arc of Infinity, and Frontios. Produced by John Nathan Turner. Any behind the scenes things to chime
No,
in
nothing that
about?
I didn't watch the documentary for this episode, and I'm looking at TARDIS Wiki. There's nothing that's standing out to me that I'm like, ooh, except for of course the later on stuff when we talk about the ending, of course. Yeah, the only big thing is that just like the end stuff. And then I'm reading here that according to TARDIS Wiki, X Avery at one point said that this was his favorite of this season, as well as during this production of this episode is when Robert Holmes sadly passed away. Which is crazy of, like, he died mid-production of writing his episode, like
So Cam then, what did you think of Mind Warp?
see, I if you have listened to our episode about, Vengeance on Raros, you would already know that I am a bigger fan of that story than you are. Uh And I never watched this story, surprisingly, even with me being a Vengeance on Varos fan. Even though I've listened to Mission of Magnus, the big British Sil story. I did never watch Mind Warp. I think part of it was just like I knew I should watch Trial of a Time Lord as one story, so I shouldn't just watch Mind Warp, which is why I never watched Trial of Time Lord because like I knew I would just have to watch all of it, and then none of the libraries near me had that box set, so it's like and then, like, when I got to it, I don't really like this production-wise, this era of Doctor Who. Like, the actual, like, sets and costume designs, it's just like so it's something it's just, like, it's not appealing to me. Uh, but yeah, I would say the first episode, was a bit rough for me, but as the story went on, I enjoyed it. I had fun with the story, which is kind of funny to say about a a Six Doctor story where it's like, "Hey, this was fun." Where a lot of the times the Six Doctor stories, you're like, "This is awful." Like, even this is like, thought this was good, like, this is not a fun watch. I feel like Mind Warp is a fun watch because I was laughing at multiple points of this episode, even though it gets to very dark places. It does have a sense of humor, especially if you find that how much they abuse Perry the story as hilarious, which it is kind of funny to me at least that she on her way out is being abused now. Poor Perry. But what did you think of it, Ben?
I think I had similar thoughts. I was a little bit skeptical of the first part, but I think as the story went on, I found myself enjoying it more and more. The Doctor here is very obviously horrible. Poor personality, um, but the fact that this is like, they kind of repeatedly talk about it like something is not quite right here. Is this edited? Is this fabricated? Um, I don't know. To me, this story it feels like a examination of criticisms of the Doctor, this incarnation of the Doctor's like ego
Yeah.
and sometimes poor personality. Like this is like intentionally over exaggerated. Like the Doctor's not that bad of a guy.
Yeah, but it's the performance is because it's so over the top, it is hilarious at moments.
Oh yeah.
Especially the moment I wanna say I got the most laughter out of me was the point where Perry is strapped and is being water tortured by the doctor, and she's just pleading for help, and the doctor's like, "You gotta tell me the secrets," and just scream at her, and she's just like, "Help me, please." I found that bit hilarious because it's so over the top, and you're just like,
Yes.
this poor woman. It's just like from Caves to Androzani on, she has had not had a break.
No. Yeah, I'm reminded a little bit of the invasion of time of all things, where
Mm,
the Doctor in this story is an untrustworthy character. You're not really
yeah,
sure what is really going on. Is this a ploy? Is this a fabrication? Is he really just did he get his brains scrambled at the end of
yeah.
part 1 and that's
And
why he's
at the same
acting
time,
that
it's there's
way?
that element to the story where the doctor doesn't even know.
Yes.
He's trying to defend himself on something he doesn't even know how he can defend.
And having the Doctor as a unreliable character is an interesting, uh,
And it doesn't
concept.
admit to anything at the end. It's still open, which we'll see if that gets answered later on this season. Because neither of us have watched Trial of the Time Lord to in full.
Open?
Like, how much of that, like, he was because
Oh,
like,
yeah.
how much of that is the doctor just being a fucking dick, and, like, or is he playing along? Did his mind get jogging, or is his mind like, how much of that was him playing along and trying to get into the Sil, and how much of that was just him being fucking crazy?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's hard to know. But it does make for an enjoyable Colin Baker performance.
Yeah. I would say, though, my main thing about Mind Warp I wanna mention before we get too much into details is, like, this is one of those stories where I kinda just enjoyed it for the vibe and the hang of Mind Warp. Like, the plot of this story is pretty weak. Of like, "Oh, yeah, this thing happened, this thing" it's just kinda just like, I'm just kinda with these characters, just seeing where they're gonna go. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't care about the big picture of Mind Warp, you know?
You don't care about the test subjects that are being experimented on, mutating, eh. But, the characters are enjoyable.
Yeah, the characters because then, like, I think one like, when you compare this to Vengeance and Varas, which, of course, you have to have that, like, comparison. Vengeance Varas has that interesting world where the world here is not anywhere as interesting as as Veras. Like, there's no character as interesting as, like, the it was the president, right? If if I remember correctly, or was it someone else? The
Like the
general?
leader? Yeah,
Yeah, the
the
leader of
president.
yeah, it was the president. I my brain sometimes with names just kinda goes like out of my mind. But anyways, the president in that story is so interesting, and there's no character in this world that we are introduced to in the story that's as interesting as that character. Or like we don't get like that couple in this story of like
Yeah,
of who is experiencing all this. It's just like when we are getting to like that rebel group, they just all die anyways later, so it doesn't really like
yeah.
change the story that much. And I don't really care about when they do die. I'm not like I'm heartbroken they dead. They're like okay, they died, I guess.
There are interesting characters here, though. I think one maybe to talk about first would be Sil, who
Yes.
is back. Not I mean, he's there throughout. He feels, like a less crucial piece of the puzzle than he was in
Yeah.
Vengeance on Varos.
I would
um,
agree.
compared to Kiv and like the scientist guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's there and he's creepy and evil, but like he doesn't really do much. But he does, especially when the doctor, whether feigning or for real, is like on Sil's side. They have some interesting chemistry.
Yes, I would agree, and his performance is still excellent, that actor.
A little bit different
Still does
costume.
an amazing job. Yeah, but it's nothing like it's I think it might be just a different paint job than costume, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's more green than brown.
Yeah,
I think it is different because like the face. I feel like there's more face, maybe.
yeah.
It's a little bit less gross, maybe.
Yeah, it is he is less gross this episode, but that's also probably partly, like you said, he's not in it as much.
Yeah.
Even if he has the same amount of screen time, it's just like the way they use him in the story, it's just like this he's not highlighted as much as with Raras.
What about Kiv?
Kiv, I don't know. I don't think I think that the actor of let me just get his name. The actor of Christopher Ryan does a good job, but it's just part of the problem is that you just can't replicate Nibel's performance as Civ, and he doesn't try to replicate that performance. He does something else, but it's just not as impacting because it's not as like gross as Sil is, or as like effective in keeping you out.
I mean, yeah, we see two other Kiv and then this other guy who's sensitive hearing, who are like larger, full size,
Yeah.
and then I mean, kind of, but I mean, relatively normal. So Sil is just a little freak. I mean,
He's our little freak, Ben.
except for they all like mush minnows, I think it is,
Yeah.
that the doctor had. Would you try a mush minnow?
Probably not. I don't like fish.
Do you like mush?
I've never had it.
You can't tell me you've never had mush. We all have had mush. You had mush when you were 2.
Mm,
Baby food mush. Yeah, Kiv doesn't have quite the presence that Sil had in Vengeance on Varos, but still is an interesting exploration into more of this species and this planet.
and Christopher Ryan, the actor, does do a good job in the role. It's just that you can't top that performance of Sil because he's just so unique. But I will say I do love Christopher Ryan's performance as General Stahl in the Sontaran Two-Parter in the 10th Doctor. Um I think he's like apart from that original guy that was a Sontaran, I think Kevin Lindsay, if I remember correctly. I think he is like the second best on Taran. I really do love his performance as a Taran.
Really?
I'm very excited to see what you think of his performance as a Sontaran.
We will see. Let's talk about Perry.
Yes.
The big thing is she dies, but before
What?
then, throughout this episode, I mean, she is like having a miserable time. Um, but I feel like my thoughts from Mysterious Planet continue where I think she's much better here than
Yes.
she was last
I will agree
season.
with you.
Doing a good performance. I really love her scene at the beginning of part 4 where she's talking about Earth and what love is with the barbarian guy.
No, it's just like it's that thing of like you like it's not she's no longer just a character that's like she's not like the damsel in distress every second just being whiny. She's less
Yes.
whiny these past 2 episodes. But especially in this episode where she's given a little bit more than she was given last episode.
Yeah, I mean, she has stuff to do because the doctor has betrayed her and she's on her
Yeah.
own.
And she is good. And then she dies in like a horrific way.
Yes.
But She has a miserable time this episode, but she does find a guy that wants to make her a queen, Ben. Have you thought about that?
That happens almost every episode, though. And not the queen, but the, like, "Ooh, you're so hot. I love you. Stay with me." And sometimes they're creepy and sometimes they're nice. Usually they're creepy.
I think 90% of the time they've been creepy. I actually don't remember the 10% where it wasn't.
Like there was. Like, the I think she had a little thing with the president in Vengeance on Varos, didn't she? Am I imagining that?
I think you're imagining that, Ben. I
They
don't
haven't
remember
all been
any point.
rapists.
I don't
I don't think they've all been rapists.
but, but no, she is good this story.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed her, and it's a shame that we didn't get to see more of where this character would have went. Because at this
Yeah.
point, you're like, "Oh, I kind of enjoying Perry," and
It's
then
crazy.
she dies, and then, like, do you wanna talk about the death now or later?
In a moment. Um, yeah. I really feel like in this season she's evolved much more. She's more than just a girl who sometimes likes botany.
Yeah.
Did they mention it here? They may not have. But I don't think we mentioned it so far where 2 or 3 times just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a botanist. This plant, yes. Mm."
But it's also at the same time, like, let's not forget that she's, like, a college student.
Yeah.
She's never like, "Ah, god, I gotta go back to my, like, classes."
Yeah, this is her summer holiday.
Like, "Oh, doctor, don't forget." Like, and she visibly aged these past 3 years. Like, it's not like it's, like, subtle. Like, she's gonna come back from that summer break, and all her friends are gonna be like, "Whoa, what happened?" Especially, like, that gap between, like, what year and what no matter what year in college, you come back 3 years later, you're gonna be visibly like, "You look different."
Yeah. I mean, who's to say he would have returned her at the same point in time?
Yeah. But then, like, what's she gonna do then? Then she's gonna go back to college as, like, a 27-year-old?
It happens.
I guess, but, like,
Be a Barbara Ian, what's 2 years situation.
yeah. But thankfully, Perry doesn't have to worry about that.
Yes, instead she, uh, is shot and or first, I suppose she dies before she's shot
Yeah. But
because
that's one of the things that makes this death even worse, is that, like, all the other companion or, like or, like, just sacrifices or just ends of characters, there's a moment at least that they get to say goodbye to the doctor, or there's at least an acknowledgement of, like, this is the last scene that we get with them. Here, it's literally just like, "Alright, we're gonna put you under. Alright, now the she swapped body minds and Perry's dead now." Like they said, she just dies and not even like an action or a word. She dies in a line of dialogue from another character.
yes, and the doctor, he's running to save her, and he gets whisked away at the wrong time.
Those messy, dirty Time Lords.
It's a very tragic death, and then we see, as we catch up to the present, we see that the barbarian guy, who loved her
Yeah, hey,
is
hey, 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 hey. Put some respect to him, Ben.
I know his name because I see it on the wiki here. Have no confidence in pronouncing it.
But you could at least call him king. He is a king after all.
Uh,
Just call him
King
from now on for the rest of this episode. He's King Barbarian.
King Barbarian, played by Brian Blessed.
Who I was gonna say this till we talk about him. Do you know who what else he has played, Ben?
Uh,
Don't look it up.
my father mentioned that he was in Flash Gordon.
But what else, Ben?
Don't
He
know.
was in well, all right, let me see if I do this, Ben, if we're gonna flash something in your mind, okay? Ugh. Nothing?
Nothing.
All right, let me give you a hint. He's in Star Wars.
Some random alien.
He's Boss Nass.
Oh,
How dare
Boss
you, Ben?
Nass. How could I forget Boss Nass?
I don't honestly, Ben, I do not know how you have forgotten Boss Nass. He's a very memorable character in the Phantom Menace. He's like the king of the Gungans.
Are the Gungans Wattos?
No,
Or no?
Ben! Ben, how are you not steeped in your Phantom Menace lore?
Believe it or not, no.
The Gungans are Jaja. So he's like the king of the race under the water.
Oh, is he like the king guy?
Yeah, he's like he's like where he has like spit coming out of him.
I'm remembering now. I was
The movie
imagining
literally
the
ends
pod
with him
racing.
holding the end of the movie is literally him holding an orb and screaming, "Ah!" He's a pretty central character in Star Wars Phantom Menace. Let's not forget. Do you think George Lucas watched Mindwarp and was like, I want that guy in my Star Wars.
Maybe. Um, but yeah, he's caught in a time bubble or something,
Yeah.
and
Because of course, like the Time Lords are like they need to interfere because they came up with like the ability to swap minds and they're like this is above their like technology and
that's
like this
it's
is
too
gonna surpass
powerful
their evolution.
to unleash upon the universe. We need to shut it down.
Which all right, I don't understand how like yes maybe this is where like the time war comes into existence and like all that stuff but like all right time lords maybe like your name is the time lords not like the lords of like we're gonna keep the universe all safe and stuff like what are you to say that they can't have this technology it's not like it's like oh they found this they got this because of some time rift ability it's like no
Yeah.
it just seems like they learned about this thing like
For the non-intervention um planet, they with between this and 2 doctors, they keep interfering.
Yeah, but, like, at least with that, the 2 doctors, it's like, it's because of a Time Lord, they have to interfere. It's one of their own. With Hair, it's like, you guess you
Oh,
can
yeah,
maybe say
I guess there was a Time Lord in 2 Doctors, that guy, I
you could
forget.
say it's because of the doctor's interaction, but they would have done it without the doctor's help. It's not like the doctor helped them to get the technology.
Yeah. But yeah, he goes in and he kills her. Kills I guess it's just not her anymore, it's Kiv in her body, but
Yes.
her mind dies and then her body.
Yes. But, of course, then, spoilers, skip a couple seconds. The tr we both don't know the full extent because we like I said, we haven't watched Full
Yeah.
Metal Time Lords,
I
but we
know
both have
this
gotten
is walked
spoiled.
back to some degree.
This is retcon as well as Big Finish does another retcon of this. So, she doesn't really die. But at least for 2 weeks, people thought not 2 weeks,
Well,
2
6
months that
weeks.
people were like, "Oh, Barry's dead." And this is traumatic. You would think this would have been the one that would have got the show canceled. It's like, little this is too much for little Timmy that's 6 years old watching this. Imagine watching this when you were 6 years old, Ben. That would have been terrifying.
Yeah. No, this is not a family show anymore for sure.
But this is the era of like, oh, we got to be, we got to pull, we got to pull out punches. We got to be safe. But yeah, to go back to King Barbarian, Ben,
Yes.
I enjoyed his performance this episode.
I was, like, not vibing it with him for a bit, and then I got in his level, and actually, this is the greatest character.
Like I am similar with you, where it took a couple. That's why again, I think the first part was like, I think the story kind of get once. That's the thing about Mindwarp. It's a story where you have to just get on its level. So it takes like 2 stories to get like to be like, oh, this is the vibe. And then once you're on the vibe, it's kind of
Yes.
enjoyable. And the King Barbarian character is kind of a, good example of that. Of just like once you click in, it's like this is fun. Like, yeah, it's one of those times where the show's like, is this in the borderline between good and bad? Yes. But guess what? It's enjoyable, so I don't care.
And his friend Dorf, who's
Yeah,
a
who it that's another thing where like a 6-year-old that would be terrifying. This guy that's
yeah,
like half hound, half man.
who, like, Perry tries to, like, pet,
Yeah.
and his face is just eternally
And then he goes to King Barbarian, is like, "Kill me, kill me." He's like, "You gotta die as a warrior in combat." And he's just over there being like, "I want to die."
Jesus.
Yeah. Don't you love Eric Sayward?
He's something.
Eric Sayward does not care about those kids. You
Not at
can
all.
clearly tell. I might be wrong about this, but you can kind of clearly tell that I don't think he has had children. Like Tan Sticks, you watch the third Doctor era, you kind of like, I buy this guy has kids and is writing for his children.
Yeah.
Like Eric Sayward is writing for himself and wants to entertain moi.
Yeah. This is not it feels like a completely different show from the fun action adventure Bond stuff happening. How the show changes.
Yes, but that's always the thing about Doctor Who is that it can change the most out of any TV show basically, just because of the format.
How you feeling about the Sixth Doctor at this moment in time? I feel like the last couple stories, you're like, you know what, that was Colin Baker's best performance yet.
Here's my thing about the Sixth Doctor era, okay? And we're gonna get to this when we get to the retrospective, so I don't want
Yes.
to spoil too much of the retrospective. But I think at the end of the day, I would say that even though I don't really enjoy his era of the show and those stories of the show, I think I do prefer Colin Baker's Doctor to Peter Davison's Doctor, just because it's more in line with not in line with, but like when Colin Baker is good as the Doctor, I think he is more what I want out of the Doctor. Where Peter Davison, I think, never gets to those highs that Colin gets to go on of just like where I'm like, God, Colin's a great performer. Peter is just like, you're a really good actor, but like I don't know if you're he doesn't have that alien aspect or that gravitas aspect or the showmanship aspect that Colin Baker can just naturally have. He's a big he like again like the whole story is JNT casted him because of how good he was at like a wedding dinner.
Yeah.
And you buy that Colin Baker is a great dinner host of like he could do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think you're probably right that he has higher highs. He probably has lower lows too. But
Yeah.
I was very skeptical, and I am finding myself enjoying him probably more than Peter.
Yeah. Even though I think Peter has better stories overall,
Yeah.
um, it's more consistent as a like a just
Oh yeah.
episodes wise.
This
Um,
I mean this feels carried by characters more than plots.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll talk about this more in a couple of
Yeah, yeah.
weeks, as well as when we do discuss his big finish work, which is very important when talking about Colin Baker.
Yeah, this definitely is unlike the last 5 Doctors, this is the first Doctor where there's a big gap to fill. 6,
Yeah,
7, and 8 feel naturally suited to having expanded media because there are
yeah.
big gaps.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
Versus, yeah, this story happened, between Arc of Infinity and Frontios.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Or
much
no, the big one is all the stories that take place between Planet of Fire and Kaiser Arozani, and then of course at the end of Time Flight and Hawk Infinity, you're just like
yeah.
so many stories happen between those two, and you're just like that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Where here it's like even with Perry and Mel, it's like you could imagine so many more stories with them that could have been off screen. Like for instance, even this episode, they do refer to stuff that we didn't see. I think they've referred to stuff because they talked to Sil, and some of the stuff they talked to Sil about is not in uh Revenge of Eris.
No?
So I think that is them referring to Mission of Magnus, if I am not mistaken. I could be wrong, and they could be referring
The only
to
thing I
that.
remember is, like, they talked about her being a bird, which that's vengeance.
So maybe I am wrong. Maybe they're just talking about Vengeance on Eris.
There is at the very beginning, they're talking about an unseen adventure
Yeah,
where at the end of it, they have this weapon that, like, okay, let's follow the trail and figure out where this weapon came from.
yeah.
So between Mysterious
Also,
Planet and this, there was who
yeah.
knows how much.
And then also between Daleks and Mysterious Planet, there could have been so many stories.
Yeah.
As well as I just wanna point out, when something we never talked about this story is that the opening of the story, I really loved the way that they did the map painting of the planets and also, like, that pink filter they had on,
Oh, yeah,
the
that was
Doctor
kinda
and Perry.
interesting.
I think that's one of the most interesting visuals of a planet that we have gotten for all of classic Doctor Who. Alright, Ben, do you think it's time for the segments?
Yeah. What's
There's nothing
the
really to say about, like, the trial stuff this episode. It's a lot of, like
Yeah, more of the same. I find it
yeah,
enjoyable, probably some of the maybe actually, I don't know if it's the better stuff, but
yeah,
enjoyable, not distracting.
yeah.
I
It
could
never takes you out of
see
the story,
yeah,
but never adds something too much to the story.
just more like, "This isn't right." "Well, no, doctor,
Yeah.
you only think that." Kinda stuff.
No, it's no. The big thing they always mention this one is like it can the Matrix can never be wrong, Doctor.
Yes. Which means it must be.
All right, Ben. What are we gonna see? Are we
Special
gonna do how
effects?
to improve? Oh, we can do special effects. I think my special effect would be the that planet stuff at the beginning,
Yeah.
or Sil's is fact. Even though I don't think it's as good as Vengeance or Us, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
The
I would
How
agree.
makeup, the How Man guy, it could be worse. It's not the best, but it could be worse.
What guy?
Like the guy that's like half like a dog.
Oh, yeah. He looks werewolfy.
What's the worst special effect?
Oh, Perry's bald cap?
I don't mind the ball cap. I didn't think the ball cap was that bad.
I mean, it's not horrendous. Doesn't look great.
Also, you have to take into account, Ben. She has a lot. She this
He's
season
got a
she
full
had a
head of
lot of hair.
hair. Yeah.
So like, I've seen worse ball. Honestly, the ball cap that fucking the ball cap that Bryan Cranston had in El Camino was worse than Perry's ball cap hair. See, like I think that's an advantage of this story is that I don't think it has a worse special effect. I do think that like I think part of the problem with Kiv is that the actor Christopher Ryan. I don't think he's a big man, but like he's not a little man like Neville. So it's just hard for him. I think a lot of times that his performance is much more like where with Sil, it's like a lot of the performance is like the body, like his body is so much of it. He's a much bigger actor, so like a lot of it's much more like it's just like the torso up. He doesn't have much leg action that he's able to move his tail. So I think that that doesn't help his performance as that character. So maybe like his that makeup, but it's not bad makeup. I don't think the story has a bad special effect, to be honest. Except for I don't really like some of the cave stuff. Some of the cave stuff was was really just I hate classic Doctor Who cave stuff. It never looks good.
Now, how would you improve this story then?
Oh, this is one of those stories that's hard to say what to make it better because it's such a fucking it's a mess of a story that kind of does work.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think that I don't really know if you need the doctor lying stuff in the story, like, and the unreliable narrator stuff. It's like I think I find it's like this story maybe would be work. I think there would be a little bit of it that would be kind of makes makes the death a little bit even more impactful if the doctor the whole time was whispering to Perry like I'm gonna get you out of this, I'm gonna get you out of this, while then having to pretend to her that like that she's trash and has to play along with it. And then at the end of the day, his result of having Perry trust him gets her killed. Would I think it had more of an impact than what we had the story of like, well, she doesn't fucking know if the doctor is crazy or not, and
Yeah.
she just then dies. Also, my one of my big things about the death of Perry is that like give us at least one scene where the doctor is able to be with her. She doesn't even get to say a goodbye to the sixth doctor or anything. They have no good final scene together.
Yeah, the only I feel like moment where they're like they're together and working together. Like he has like one whisper when she's chained up on the rocks and then he goes back to maybe yeah, a little bit more of that so it feels like more of a betrayal
Yeah.
than he's just fucking crazy and I don't know why.
And they just keep on reiterating that and making Perry be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go with the doctor. I'm gonna go with the doctor," and then the fate of it actually happens, and he feels the doctor feels so guilty from it. And then that would be interesting with the trial stuff because then the guilt of Perry's death could impact his decision. He might feel responsible for it, so that he feels like maybe he should be put on. He should be have to deal with the consequences of the trial. You know?
Instead of having it be just like, "No, this didn't happen, you're lying."
Yeah, as well as like a part of this is like, oh, we plucked you out, and now you're not totally responsible for this at all because you could have maybe saved her, but we plucked you out, so we're kind of at fault here
Yeah.
too.
I mean, it definitely enforces that the council here is and the Valyard are the villains,
Yeah.
potentially. Cliffhangers? 1. The doctor is hooked up to Crozier's equipment to be used to extract the truth from him. He screams in agony as they begin. 2. King Barbarian attacks the doctor. It is your turn to die. 3. Perry and the rebels are attacked, potentially killed. It's unclear at the time. And then in the trial room, the doctor yells in disbelief that he's not responsible for that. And the Valyard says, "In your mind, perhaps not, but in reality, it is somewhat different, Doctor." And then 4, Perry is killed on order of the High Council. The Doctor exclaims, "I was taken out of time for another reason, and I have every intention of finding out what it is." What is the best? 1?
Probably one. But I don't think any of them this episode was that great.
Nah.
It was they didn't have a standout cliffhanger.
One thing that I thought was silly with the first one is, like, they grab the Doctor and they strap him down, and Perry is just kind of standing there,
Yeah.
not yelling or doing anything, just kinda standing there.
Poor Nicola Bryant. Not given anything to do.
So, Cam, how would you rate Mindwarp?
Oh god, this is a hard one. Sometimes these episodes it's really easy to rank, and sometimes they're difficult. This is definitely one that's more difficult because I'm like, ah, I enjoyed it honestly, but I don't think it's great. So I'm gonna go 7.5, which might be a little bit too high, but I
That
enjoyed
is
for what it is, to
really
be
high.
honest.
That makes it your number 3 story.
Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go maybe like I think it's gonna be my number 3 regardless, but I think I'll do 7.3. I won't go as high, but 7.3 I think sounds a little bit more sane to me. Something about like a little bit off.
Let's see. Do I like this more? I like it more than Mysterious Planet. Do I like it more or less than the Two Doctors? I definitely enjoyed this story. If there's no Patrick Troughton, though.
But it doesn't have any of like the bad. It doesn't have. I don't think it nearly goes as bad as some of the bad in Two Doctors.
I'll do 7.1
Okay.
for an average rating of a 7.2. And then the polls as
Yeah. NA. It doesn't
NA.
matter. Doctor
I
Magazine,
think it's 4 of 8.
get your stuff together. For the next time we do this. Like, come on,
Get your house
let's
in
just
order.
settle that that they are separate episodes. They have names. They have different books. They have different writers, different directors. They're not just one whole story. Come on.
I mean, it is connected, but it is 4 different stories. I feel that way at the moment. So join us next week for the next part of the trial of a Time Lord, Terror of the Vervoids,
And oof.
and a new companion. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Peace out, everyone.